What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and some of the biggest stimulus checks that we have seen so far are currently being approved and are going to be arriving here very soon. I'm going to get you all the details in this video. This is your stimulus check update and stimulus package update. Now, I'm going to be discussing this on a federal level and on state levels, as states are stepping up and sending out gas stimulus checks. And these have come back. We hadn't heard anything about stimulus checks for a while. Didn't look like the fourth check was doing very well. And now, due to everything going on with inflation, the war in Russia, Ukraine, and a potential new wave coming, we're hearing about gas checks. We've heard that there's 4 proposals on a federal level on the table. And right now, states are stepping up and passing their own checks. We're going to cover it all. Take a look at some of these headlines. $1,000 stimulus checks for New Mexico residents. So in New Mexico, $1,000 checks. You could get up to $1,500. I'm going to cover all the details. This would be in addition to if there's a federal check as well. Also, Alaska. Take a look at this. The House approves a major increase in state spending, including $2,600 payments to Alaskans. The residents of the state could receive $2,600. Now, you've already heard California. Car owners could get up to $800. Illinois has proposed statewide stimulus checks as well. These are coming out left and right. I've covered a lot of the state checks in detail. And also, we're going to be covering federal level checks. As I mentioned, there have been proposals that have hit the White House. 4 have already come out, some for monthly checks, quarterly checks, one-time checks. I'm going to let you know where things stand, as right now we're hearing that gas tax holiday, getting rid of the federal tax, they're saying is not enough and won't guarantee that payments help gets to the people. They're saying the best way to do it, you can see Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi letting us know, is gas stimulus checks on a federal level. I'm going to get you all the details in this video. Let's go ahead and dive right in. But before we do, also wanted to say thank you for all the support on that second channel, Steve Ram Finance. More content coming your way on that channel. If you're interested, I'll pin a comment down below. Click the link, go subscribe. Growing wealth, personal finance, learning about real estate, stocks, cryptos. More content on that channel. Now, let's dive into this channel though. Let's dive into the latest updates on economic news and stimulus. But before we do, if you appreciate the content, don't forget, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Helps out my channel a ton. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. And if this is your first time here and you'd like to stay up to date on everything going on, I'll let you know what's taking place day by day. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. If you got any specific questions for me, I'm easy to get a hold of directly. Just hop onto Instagram, shoot me a DM at SteveRam3. And with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, so first up, link in the description below to this article that came out over the weekend that says $1,000 stimulus checks for New Mexico residents. Now, the article says over the following 5 months, most New Mexican bank accounts will be seeing a deposit of $500 to $1,500. The state's government's stimulus check comes after lawmakers in New Mexico authorized 2 different stimulus packages this year, despite record oil income and growing living costs, notably high gas prices. Some of the funds come from a measure voted by parliamentarians in February of 2022 during a normal legislative session. Now, on April 5th of 2022, lawmakers passed a second package after convening in Santa Fe for a one-day extraordinary legislative session. A total of $1,000 will be awarded to heads of household, surviving spouses, and married couples submitting joint returns. Individual filers and married couples filing separately returns will each receive $500. Now, stimulus check funds, here's when you can expect to receive it. It says those funds will be split into 2 different portions once again. As soon as feasible, the first payment is expected, so you can expect this right away. And the act specifies that it must be delivered no later than June 30th of 2022. So, congratulations, in the state of New Mexico, you could be receiving up to $1,500. And you should receive this before the month of July. Now, next up, we have Alaska, and this is a big one. Take a look at this. One of the biggest we've seen. Alaska House approves major increase in state spending, including $2,600 payments to Alaskans. Now, the article says that the Alaska House of Representatives voted Saturday to turn an oil price surge into money for K-12 schools, tax credits, and oil drillers, and $2,600 payments for Alaska residents. Now, the House voted 25 to 14 to send the $7.7 billion state operating budget proposal to the state Senate. So this passed the House, moving on to the Senate, which is developing its own plan as well. So both of them likely are going to be combining what they're working on, the 2 plans. which sets spending for Alaska services starting July 1st, will be combined into a compromise plan, just as we said, and sent to Governor Mike Dunleavy later this spring. So right now they're working on it, hopefully going to have this all set and in place again. You should be seeing this pass and go through, they're hoping for by July. So Alaska and New Mexico, those are the arrival times we can expect to see these come through. And of course, next up we have California. And I say of course because, as you know, they have the Golden State Stimulus 1. That was for anybody making under $30,000 a year. They had the Golden Stimulus 2, which was $30,000 to, if I remember correctly, $70,000 a year, $75,000 a year. And now we're hearing they're likely going to be having another Golden State Stimulus check due to all the surplus in the state. And also, we're getting word of these gas tax rebates where an individual could get up to $800, $400 per registered vehicle to an individual. Take a look, you guys. Link in the description below. California shouldering the nation's highest gas prices, and they could soon be getting a tax break. Free rides on public transit and up to $800 on debit cards to help pay for fuel under a proposal revealed Wednesday, March 23rd by Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom. And it says gas prices have soared in recent weeks. This is the result of the pandemic-induced inflation and Russia's invasion of Ukraine. State governments across the country have been debating on what to do about it, with the most popular choices being to slash fuel taxes and offering rebates to taxpayers, aka stimulus checks. Now, a lot of states have already slashed those state gas taxes, and a lot of them are already, as you see, sending out checks. And we've heard the argument that checks is the better route. And the reasoning that they're saying for this is because even if they slash those taxes off of the oil or the fuel, it doesn't necessarily guarantee that those companies are going to bring the price down. As we've already seen, oil prices come down, but gas prices, they've stayed up there. And they're saying that these companies are just taking bigger profits of margin. So they're saying in order to ensure that people get some assistance, stimulus checks is the way to go. And that is the argument we're going to be hearing here from Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi in just a second. Oh, and just very quickly, though, wanted to mention that Illinois Democrats have proposed statewide stimulus checks as well. Now, we've heard that this is still making its way through. This is a proposal. This has not yet been approved, last I've heard. But as more information rolls out on this and we get some details about Illinois, I'll be sure to let you know. I think last we heard it potentially could be about $250 to $300 per individual. But like I said, as more comes out, I'll be sure to let you know here on the channel. Now, that's what's taking place on a state level. We're seeing a lot of states slashing their state gas taxes, adding stimulus checks to help out their residents with everything going on. But now let's talk about a federal level for everybody in the nation. And as I let you know, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi is one of the top Democrats that's saying we need gas checks to ensure that people are getting the help that they need at this time. Link in the description below to this article that says Democrats eye action on leasing reform and gas rebates. Now, this came out a while ago. I'm just letting you know where things are at. Congressional Democrats are showing interest in moving legislation that would reflect and even go beyond the latest White House proposals for bringing down soaring gas prices. As you know, actions have already been taken by the White House, but we're hearing it's not enough. 4 proposals have been brought to the president's desk. We're hearing they're under consideration at this time. We're going to see what takes place. Now, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, she endorsed President Biden's plans for releasing more crude from the strategic reserve and using the national security law to shore up critical mineral supplies for electric vehicles. She also signaled an openness to White House's calls for Congress to pass federal energy leasing reforms. Democrats have also floated gas rebates for consumers, aka gas stimulus checks, but the administration has not yet embraced that idea. So we're seeing, as I mentioned, it's currently under consideration. We have not heard a yes or a no from the White House on gas stimulus checks. And take a look at this, though. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi said gas stimulus checks would be the way to go because we can't ensure that oil companies, gas companies are going to lower their prices if they get rid of that federal gas tax. But questions grow about Biden's position on the gas tax holiday. They're saying it's starting to look like they're not going to go the route of getting rid of that federal tax. They might go the route of stimulus checks. President Biden is facing growing questions about whether he will throw his support behind a federal gas tax holiday in an attempt to save Americans some money at the pump while gas prices remain high from inflation and the impacts of the Russian invasion in Ukraine. The White House has not articulated a clear position on this issue just yet, saying that it is not taking anything off the table. So Stimulus checks, getting rid of the federal gas tax, all of it is still under consideration, as states like Maryland and Connecticut, they've already implemented a gas tax holiday for the state, and state legislators in Virginia are looking at a temporary suspension as well. And it's an issue that divides his own party, as it's backed by swing state senators facing tough races in November, but it's opposed by Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi and Senate swing vote Joe Manchin. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi and Joe Manchin both on board. No federal gas tax breaks. We need to just send out checks. 6 Democratic governors have called on Congress to suspend the federal gas tax for the remainder of the year, which would save Americans about 18.4 cents per gallon. Money saved at the pump translates into dollars back in consumers' pockets for groceries, childcare, rent, and more, wrote Michigan's Gretchen Whitmer, Minnesota's Tim Waltz, Pennsylvania's Tom Wolf, Colorado's Jared Polis, New Mexico's Michelle Lujan Grisham, and Wisconsin's Tony Evers in a letter to congressional leaders last month, and the push has been bipartisan. So there are a lot of them saying, hey, this is what needs to be done. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. So you guys, that is the latest that's taking place with stimulus checks right now. As I mentioned, some of the state checks coming out are some of the largest that we have seen proposed so far, and some of them are already approved and are going to be arriving. And also, I'll let you know what's going to be happening on a federal level. As all these proposals are coming out, we're hearing they're starting to get some backing, and it's looking like getting rid of the federal gas tax is not getting as much support as they were hoping. So whatever unfolds though, I'll be sure to let you guys know here on the channel. And as always, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far and you have not already, don't forget, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Helps me out a ton if you appreciate the content. Thank you so much. Also leave your comments, share this out. If you want to stay up to date, totally free. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. If you got any specific questions for me, hop onto Instagram, shoot me a DM at SteveRam3, and consider joining that second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth and personal finance. But with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for joining me once again, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.